The following is intended only for drippy audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's going on, people? Today I'm bringing Alabama to Georgia. Be real now. When have you ever heard somebody say Bama got that drip? Well, I'm about to tap into their sense of fashion and see what it's like being a resident of Alabama and introduce y'all to one of the up-and-coming designers in the state. And he fair, so you know that boy got a little sauce in his DNA. Let's see if that drip can match up to our prestigious stage of fashion here in Georgia.
What's up, y'all? My name is Kimani Siadenso. I'm 23 years old from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm the owner of Mihora Co., and you are now tuned into my interview with AATV.
What is the meaning of Mihora Co?
So the politically correct way to say Mihora Co., because it's a Spanish name, is Mihora Co., but I put my own spin on it and turned it into Mihora Co., but it means my time.
When did you begin the clothing brand?
So really it started when I started sewing last summer, so that was around summer 20. I want to say it was in either April or July was when I made my first piece. And from there, I didn't really know that I wanted to start a clothing brand. I was just more so customizing pants. And then, from there, I already had knowledge and a background sense on a clothing brand, so I decided to launch it on July 5th, 2020. And I used it kind of as a memorial for my father who passed in 2017, so I did it in his honor.
So do you hand make all of your clothes, or you get some made by a manufacturer?
No, so my branded stuff, which is like my hoodies, tracksuits, and everything that you see my logo on, that's all made by manufacturers. I know for me, what I hand make and what I customize jeans, and I do alterations and stuff like that, such as tailoring, hem, taper, all that different type of stuff.
Who or what was the inspiration behind you making clothes?
So I would say it's two people. So I used to work with my line brother Trez for a while on his clothing brand. It was No Sleep at the time. It's now Mutual Avant, and it's located here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I kind of, from working with him, I got a good background on how to run a clothing brand. It was something that I enjoyed and that excited me. But after we stopped working together, I wouldn't say that I was thinking about making a clothing brand. I just kind of had the knowledge and was sitting on it. And then also, I would say, to be honest, the real inspiration behind the clothing brand even starting was my girl, for real. I was at the crib one night and I was talking to a manufacturer overseas about making me some pants. And I was going to pay him to make them, but he was going to charge me $130. And so she like...
For one pair of pants?
Yeah, one pair of pants, a sample, you feel me? 130 from China. Yeah. So she was like, nigga, if you don't make them yourself. So from there, I ended up going to Walmart and getting like a little small sewing kit. And within 5 minutes of watching the video, I was sewing patches and stuff to a pair of pants. I posted it on Instagram and got a whole bunch of good feedback. So, shout out to her.
I was just going to say, I hope you thanked her for that.
No, for sure. I thank her all the time, like just for putting the idea in my head.
So any fashion influences? Any celebrity influences? Anybody that...
I wouldn't necessarily say like I have any celebrity influences. I would say it's more so like my peers, for real, looking at the style of different people around me. Because I know growing up I was into fashion, but I come from a family where my mom was a single parent, 2 kids, so it was more so I could only afford to be as fashionable as what fit in our budget. So I used to see the kids with the J's, the designer, and all that, and that's stuff that I knew if I had it, I could piece it together well, and I know how to dress, but it's like I couldn't afford it, you feel me? So I ain't really start dressing and getting real fashionable until about high school and then really in college too.
It seems like since there's no main attraction other than college sports, styling would be a big statement there in Alabama. So how is the fashion scene in Alabama?
So that is a no. I'm gonna be honest. In Alabama, I would say overall as a state, the fashion is very slow. Like, you know, we're close to Atlanta, so I feel like a lot of the things that Atlanta is doing, that's what we try to, you know, pick up on. But I would say overall, like in Atlanta, I mean in Alabama, people are not really dressing like that. So that's kind of my motivation to, you know, elevate my clothing brand even there is just, you know, to kind of put people onto some new fashions, to something nice, something that I feel like is drip, you know what I'm saying? So,
Who is your target audience?
I'm glad you asked that because it's kind of a mix. I mean, my target audience started off more so as, you know, college students and my peers that were around me, but I'm starting more to move to like, I would say more urban streetwear type people who like to wear those type of clothing. But I mean, really, ultimately, I feel like my pieces are so versatile that, you know, anybody could wear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody. Like, so I would say my target audience is still people who like to wear urban wear and stuff like that. But I feel like the sky's the limit. So I feel like eventually I want everybody to want to wear Mihora coat.
Detail each one of your collections.
So I just dropped a collection January 22nd called Love is Timeless. And I would say that is my first real collection, even though I dropped July 5th, 2020. That was more so, you know, me dropping branded t-shirts and, you know, I dropped some of my custom pants. But, you know, like I was saying, on January 22nd, I dropped my Love is Timeless collection. It was just a collection that I felt like, you know, I try to tie all my collections back to time, since that's what my brand name is, my time. So, you know, love is timeless. You know, I feel like my love is timeless, so I felt like that was dope. And with that, as you can see, I got a piece on right now. You know, the two skeletons hugging with the heart broken, and if you see the details on the inside, it's a clock on the inside. And along with this, I had t-shirts. I also had cargo tracksuits, as well as some striped shirts. So.
That design right there, particularly, that's fire. When you pointed at, I didn't even realize that. That's hard though. That detailing right there is hard.
Another thing I want to say, man, I'm not gonna lie. I was working on this collection since like the beginning of October until January 22nd.
So you put some time into this.
Oh no, most definitely. Like that's what I feel like that's what I'm gonna do with all my collections. I always put time and thought into them. You know.
Well, it's your time. So
originally it was supposed to drop in December, but you know. Things were a little slow. They ended up coming together in January, so that's what we did.
What are some of the problems you found you have to avoid while selling clothes?
Are you talking about like just as owning a clothing brand or just?
Well, let me say making clothes. Well, yeah, and having a clothing brand altogether.
So I would say for what I do in terms of the sewing aspect of things, like it's a constant learning progress. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a professional just yet. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just constantly learning and, you know, knowing how to correct your mistakes because, you know, when I'm doing custom pants, you know, I'm making pieces, you know, for somebody that I feel like are special, so I'm going to want it to be perfect. So anything, you know, you're messing up on, you have to go back over and correct and just trying to, you know, put out the best work that you can. But I would say overall with owning a clothing brand, I feel like the biggest mistake that you can make is not putting effort and time into, you know, your craft or what you're dropping. Because that's the biggest thing to me is making sure that I'm always putting effort and thought into, you know, everything that I'm dropping and not just hopping off the porch, like throwing a logo on something saying, okay, I got a clothing brand. Like, you really have to think about it. You really have to be creative, find a way to stay relevant.
Yeah, and that says a lot. Your customers really look for continuity. What I'm trying to say, they look for creativity, and they look for you to be consistent with your stuff.
No, most definitely.
Other than Instagram, what is your approach to marketing your brand?
So I always say this anytime people ask me this. My marketing skills and everything come from my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. You know, coming through that. You know,
Did you hold a position there?
Yeah, I'm currently the president of the chapter right now, but I know coming through, you know, Kappa, we had to do a lot of marketing with parties and stuff like that. So, you know, that's walking up to people, handing them flyers, saying, really introducing yourself, having to be a people person. So I feel like my marketing skills you know, kind of out the roof just coming from that. So that's the approach that I use with my brand. You know, just being a people person, constantly marketing, finding creative ways to market. Like I know my last marketing strategy for my last drop, I created a whole, you know, video of 360 images of my brand and all of my pieces that I dropped. And that was something that was something that caught people's attention. So, you know, you just have to find a way to be creative and catch people's attention, especially in today's age, because, you know, this has taken over, you know, kind of our generation, and we live with a whole bunch of people who tend to constantly scroll through Instagram, and, you know, you're gonna stop scrolling when something catch your attention. So that's what I always try to be. I try to be that thing that's gonna make you stop.
Talk about your pop-up shop. I see you was just featured in one of them.
Yeah, so the two most recent pop-up shops I did, myself and my line brother, he's over at 3v3 Management. We had the On Top Soon pop-up shop in Birmingham, Alabama. It was pretty successful. We had over 15 brands show up, and then I was there as well to sell merchandise. And then also I was at this event called The Ring. They have it in Birmingham, Atlanta. They're about to have it in Dallas, and I know they have it in Memphis, but she always likes to bring me in as a vendor as well, so I was there selling merch too. I got a pop-up shop coming up on the 20th, which is next weekend. It's gonna be in Nashville, Tennessee. It's gonna be The Ring Nashville, and that's typically an event where a lot of local artists come out and stuff like that, and they get to perform their talents and whatnot, and I'm gonna be there as a vendor. I typically travel with them frequently. And then also, I have another pop-up shop coming up in Atlanta, Georgia. It's gonna be on February 27th.
Give our watchers a solid piece of advice when selling clothes.
Just to reiterate what I said earlier, man, just constantly put a lot of time into your craft. Be creative. Don't try to be like, you know, the next person. Because one thing I say, especially since Corona and everything has come around, I feel like the clothing market is very oversaturated, you know, with a lot of brands that are selling the same thing or are the same, you know. So find a way to separate yourself from the next person. Like my coaches used to always say in high school, like, what's gonna make me pick you to be my starting point guard over, you know, him? Like, what separates you? And from the beginning, I found what separated me, which was the fact that I could sew. I had an actual craft, and the fact that I know that I'm gonna put time into what I'm doing more than the next man. So that's what I say.
All right, we appreciate that advice. I wish you and your business good fortune, and you have a good day.
All right, for sure.
I love that piece of advice he gave, because just from my experience, I have witnessed there are a lot of brands out here that are similar if not identical. And that's what us people want. We want originality. Well, I know I want that. So be yourself, man. Don't take ideas from someone else or another brand. Be yourself. Come up with stuff on your own. With his first couple collections, from his style to his detail, new past potential in this fashion world. Continue to tune in. I'll be featuring my first female dominant brand soon. And I got something special up my sleeve. So you might as well just subscribe now to stay updated. Peace and love. I'll catch y'all next time.